Today, talking about how to get started in wedding photography.
Keep waving. It's good stuff, man.
Welcome back to the 30 days of videos. Appreciate you being here. If you are not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I'm turning the bell on because there's new videos coming out every single day of the month. It's exciting, right? Every Monday, film photography video, because those were scheduled and approved before I decided to do this course. So you get a little film photography road trip mix in there every Monday. And then the other days, it's all wedding photography. I want to say a quick thank you to the sponsor of these 30 videos, which is Focal. Focal created my new website. Go back to last week's videos if you want to see exactly my website. And basically what happened was I did a call and I talked about what I wanted my website to look like. And then Focal just went out and built it and then sent me a first draft. And in the month of January, so if you're watching this in January, you can have that setup fee waived as well. So $900 plus back in your pocket, and they will just do that complimentary for you. And head on over to the link in the description to learn more. Not only does it come with your website, but it also comes with a fantastic back-end system that does it a lot already and we'll be doing even more over the next year. There's a lot of things that you don't really think about as a photographer, especially if you're just getting into wedding photography, in terms of how do you send people contracts? How do they sign them? Where do you keep them? How do you take payments? How do you take a credit card payment? And the back-end system of your website will just do all of this for you. And it's basically my entire system used to be like a bunch of disjointed stuff. It'd be like my website's kind of over here on Squarespace, and then my backend system's over here, kind of within Google, kind of like Honeybook for a bit. And then when someone wanted to pay over a credit card, I'd have to send them a PayPal invoice. There's just a lot going on. Now it's all simplified, and then it comes with the bonus layer of the marketplace as well. What the marketplace does is it basically lists all of your packages. People will be searching for wedding photography in your city, and they will find your packages, and they will come over to you, and they'll book you, and then all your wildest dreams will come true. That's all. On today's video, how to get started in wedding photography. Thought I was going to put a song there, but I didn't. So wedding photography, I guess to speak to my journey specifically and how I became a wedding photographer. I was in the concert and music space, and honestly, there's not a whole lot of money in that space, or there wasn't at the time. I feel like there's still not really. I decided that I wanted to do something that would be a career in photography. I enjoyed taking pictures. I enjoyed the process of going out with a camera and I don't know, like just documenting real life and what was happening. And I decided that weddings would be a nice transition. I knew that a lot of my friends were about to get married or were becoming engaged. I had not been to a wedding, so the most important thing for me was to actually figure out and to find some education and figure out what I didn't know yet. I feel like now it's easier than ever, especially even on my channel. You can go to any of the full behind the scenes wedding days and you actually get to experience what it's like at a wedding from the perspective of the photographer. That didn't exist. That's why I started building those videos and started bringing everybody to the wedding days. And it seems to be very, very helpful. So if you haven't been to a wedding, you don't really know what all wedding photography looks like, head on. I think there's like 30 or 40 of those behind the scenes videos now. So there's more than enough for you to get kind of a good perspective on what a wedding day could look like and how I approach different scenes, because it is kind of the first year of being full time. You're still troubleshooting. Like you end up in a reception room, you're like, I don't know how to do this. And then, well, now you can just go on your phone and you can just find a quick YouTube video. Like, okay, I'll put my light there. That sounds good. But even though you can do that, I still think it's important to come in with as many skills as you can. So you're probably already doing this. You've already submerged yourself a little bit in wedding photography education. Just keep doing that more and more. And also from different people. I know maybe I shouldn't be saying this, like make sure you check out other people and like find who's right for you. But there are a lot of incredible photography educators out there, and they're all like, we all kind of have our own little lane. And I don't expect you to be exactly in one of them. Like you're not going to want to do exactly what I do and exactly how I do a wedding day. You can go check out somebody like John Branch, who does things a lot differently, or maybe a little bit differently, I guess, depending on how you look at it. Or somebody that is just so great and amazing at posing, like Jerry Chionis, who is really, if you want magazine looking images, he's somebody that can make those happen. So find your blend from all of the other people that are out there. Don't try to emulate just one specific person. That wasn't even on the list of things I was going to talk about. I just came up with that, I guess. I thought it was important. Number two is, I guess, so the easiest way, or when you're looking at the industry, it's like, how do I get into this industry? Oh, I know, I'll second shoot for people. I had the same thought. I emailed a lot of people. Don't just email people a blanket. I did custom ones for everyone and still no one really got back to me. What I've discovered kind of works a little bit better is if with social media, there's a little bit of a warm up period. You maybe check in, you start commenting on their work, or you send them like some story responses or whatever. Do some sort of warm up. Don't just like all of a sudden just cold email somebody that doesn't know who you are. I feel like that's easier than ever now. It's still going to be very difficult. A lot of photographers, at least I guess speaking from my specific experience, we have, I guess, 4 or 5 people that we kind of work with as second photographers all year, and we all work for each other. So I'll second shoot for my wife, Lindsay, or Lindsay will second shoot for me, or if we're doing a video wedding day, Tim will come with me, or Marshall. And all of our seconds all came from friendships, or I guess in the case of Lindsay and I were dating at the time, and I was like, well, if you want to hang out on Saturdays, you got to come to weddings. And she had never shot a wedding before. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that a friendship is an easier way for you to come into a second photography role. Basically, if you kind of look at it from the perspective of another photographer, you're essentially emailing someone to be like, hey, can you train me to be your direct competition in your local area? And then also, can I use the images from your weddings to further confuse clients whenever they're trying to compare us in the future? And they're like, why do you guys have the same couples in your portfolio? What's going on there? So it is a bit of a tricky thing for you to get in and second shoot for people. And there really is no direct route to it either. I would say that if you can secure a second photography gig that allows you to use those images, or to at least use some of the images, I would say that's very, very important. If you're just shooting for the experience and you're handing off the card at the end of the day, that's fine too. You get some real life experience on how wedding day operates, but it's not the most ideal overall. What I actually did, rather than just straight up second shooting to build my portfolio, was that I actually just started reaching out to friends that I knew were recently married. It's like, hey, can you put your stuff back on? Can we go do like a 1-hour shoot? If you offer to pay people, they're going to be so down. They're going to be even more down than it. I'm going to guess you can tell when people don't really want to do a thing when they reschedule like 6 times. They're like, oh yeah, something came up. Can we do it like next Sunday? I feel like that was all of these shoots that I had 4 or 5 reschedules running on each of them. And finally they're like, Taylor's just not going to give up. I guess we'll just go do it. But what I found was that those images, one, they were in my portfolio for a long time because it was essentially, it was a day after shoot. There was no pressure. We could go out, we could pick the locations that we want. We could pick the time of day. So we could really create some good wedding work. And then additionally, since they were my friends, they were kind of my ideal clients. So I was able to populate my portfolio with my ideal clients. And at the time, that meant that I could be like, hey, like, don't worry about renting new dress shoes, just wear like black Converse. And I could kind of build my own portfolio that way. So that is a key thing that I did that I would say was the second photography experience. Obviously important to actually go to a wedding day. But in terms of what actually booked me work, I think setting up these shoots with friends and just being like, any opportunity you have, if a friend of a friend is getting married and they don't have a photographer, offer to be that photographer. It's really anything you can do to find your way into actual wedding days. A bunch of my first weddings were actually from Craigslist of all places. So I put up like, hey, I'll do a 3-hour wedding for free. Here's like a bunch of, the time it was like my band portfolio. I'm like, yeah, check out these wicked photos of Tegan and Sarah. And some people were like, all right, like, it seems like you're good enough. Cool. Like, come on out. And to be completely honest, those weddings were terrible. It was very, very challenging. You're not respected when you're a free photographer, but it was something that I had to go through, I think, to at least begin photographing weddings. I think you also learn how to deal with the worst possible situations and the most awkward situations. And specifically, I guess, speaking to if you only do styled shoots and you've only worked with professional models, you've built out this beautiful website all based on people that know how to pose. And then you find yourself in a situation where people are just awkward real life humans and you don't know what to do and you can't replicate what they've seen on your website. That's a massive problem. So make sure that you do have kind of a blend of all of these things. But I would recommend just like finding people that are your ideal couples and probably your friends already, and figuring out how to populate your portfolio with that before attempting to populate it with real weddings, because real weddings are going to come in slow. That the first couple of years you're going to be really hungry. You're probably really hungry right now. That you're just like, I just want to shoot weddings. Why I want to do them like right now. I'll go shoot a wedding this afternoon. And that's the problem for everyone, that when you book things, it's a year out, it's 2 years out, and it's a bit of a struggle to just like wait for your portfolio. So you can do things actively now to get out there and start building your own portfolio. After that, it is important to get a website together to showcase everything that you've been doing. I honestly do recommend hit the link in the description and check out Focal. Put your name on the list if you want the free website setup. It's an offer that's amazing and it's never going to come back. This is literally the only month of ever that this will ever happen. So definitely sign up for that and at least do a call and talk with Lachlan or one of the Focal staff members and have them kind of talk to you. There's a lot that I still don't know and a lot of things that they have visibility on because they know a lot of different photographers. They know how people do things. They know how things work in different markets. So by going to an expert, you really do accelerate the growth of your business pretty quickly. The last thing I want to touch on is to just always keep working. You're probably already doing a lot of the things that you should be doing, and it just requires doing them for longer and doing them in a way that actually kind of speak to each other. I think one of the issues that I had in the beginning was that I was doing a lot of different marketing efforts, but they were all completely disjointed. So if I could go back, what I would be doing is that if I paid to be in a magazine as an advertisement, I would also get some sort of deal where they would feature one of my real weddings. And then I would put that real wedding on my blog. And then I would promote that blog through Facebook and Instagram ads to make sure that it reached the maximum amount of people. And I would do more things like that rather than just kind of the one-off, like I'll do a page, hopefully it books me something, and then it doesn't. Or you do a bridal show and you don't book anything from it. The value in things is not always obvious. So in a bridal show, the vendor connections that you're going to make are way superior to any potential couples that you'll book from that wedding day. Couples obviously nice to book, but having those 10-year, 20-year relationships from a show, from that first meeting in real life, are definitely long-term a little bit more valuable for you. So that is all for today. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe and turn the bell on, and I'll see you again tomorrow.